Hey everybody, Butch Hartman here for Healing Journeys today, and welcome. And I think you're going to notice that there's something a little bit different today. I'm not with my wife, Julieann. I normally, obviously, am with my wife, Julieann. In fact, the title of our message today is Always Together, because we're always together. And the one thing about being married is that you should be always together. We really should be. And the reason Julianne's not here today, and I mean, she's here with me in my home, and she's here in the state of California with me. But we just got back from our Healing Journeys Celtic Nations tour. We've been talking about this for about a year now, and it's so exciting because we have been in Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. We took a year to plan this trip out, and we just got back last night. So she is taking care of some stuff that needs to be taken care of after being gone for 3 weeks. We were gone for nearly 21 days with our team. We had 20 people with us. It was so exciting. And we went, I wrote it down this morning. We did 4 countries, 7 hotels, and I think we did 7 churches while we were over there. I know all of them, and I was just writing them all down today. But it was such a whirlwind tour and so exciting because we were able to bring our entire team with us. And what a blessing it was. The testimonies that are going to come out of this tour are so incredible. The testimonies we already experienced are amazing. But the crazy thing about all the stuff we're going to eventually hear is that testimonies will continue for years to come. I mean, just because you don't hear them the day of doesn't mean that they're not going to be occurring. So we're so grateful to everybody who participated in the Celtic Nations tour. Thank you so much. If you came live to one of our events while we were in the UK, we are so grateful. If you watched online while we did our meetings, we're so grateful for that as well. We are so blessed that you guys are involved and that you're part of the Healing Journeys Today family. So Julieann couldn't be here right now because she's taking care of all these things that we had to take care of since we've returned. There's a ton of mail, a ton of errands needed to be done. So she wanted me to send her love. We will, of course, be back on here. We have a really amazing new show that we're planning as well that you are going to absolutely love. I'm so grateful that all of you are following us here on our HARTbeat show, but we're definitely making some changes to it, and it's going to be real exciting when we finally unveil the new thing we're doing. So today, we're talking about always together. Always means always, and together means, of course, together. And as a married couple, if you're going to, and ironically, that's our message, and Julian's not with me today, but she's still in my heart. She's still my wife. She's still here doing stuff. But always together basically means we are just that, always together. When you guys take a vow with each other to get married, it really truly means you're vowing to be together as a married couple. I know in this day and age that marriage is taken very lightly. A lot of times, or divorce is kind of glorified in our society. I'm not saying if you've been divorced, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what happened in your marriage. But a lot of times, people get divorced simply as a way of avoiding discomfort. I'm not saying to stay in an abusive relationship or anything like that. We're not saying that, but sometimes people get divorced simply because they get bored. They see somebody on Instagram or online having what they think is more fun than them, and they decide, you know what, that person's having more fun than me. If I wasn't married, I could have fun too. And then they'll get divorced for no reason. And it's really, really a shame, because when you marry somebody, you're really taking a vow to be with that person forever. That's what that means, a covenant. When God makes a covenant, he means it's forever. He doesn't just promise you for 30 days and then it's over. God gives us covenants. People have contracts. We write contracts with each other because people don't trust each other. That's why we have contracts. That's why we have written documentation. So I can then go to you and say, well, you said this, it's written right here, and we signed an agreement. That's what, contracts are for. But when you get married, you do enter into a marriage covenant with your spouse. It's extremely important to remember that, because a lot of times in our life and society now, promises don't really mean anything. People go back on their word all the time. And I'm just here to recommend to you that, staying by your word, standing on your word, being a person of your word means everything. It means people can trust you. They can rely on you. You're dependable. You're sort of that foundation that they can stand on. They'll know exactly what they can expect from you. Like if you tell someone, let's say somebody asks you for a favor, hey, can you meet me here and help me with this project at 10 o'clock Saturday morning? And you say, yes, I can. And then 10 o'clock rolls around Saturday morning and you're nowhere to be found. And you don't call. And then you show up 6 hours late, if you show up at all. That's a person that can't be depended on. So that's a person who probably won't stay together with anybody. And the always together thing, the title of our message today, it absolutely applies to marriage and relationships. When you enter into a marriage relationship, you start before that by dating the person. There's a sense of commitment already developing in your heart toward that person, and you are going to then grow that relationship so you can begin to just sort of formulate in your mind, boy, like what would it be like to stay with this person forever, And by the way, you don't know what it's going to be like when you first start out. I mean, I've been married 33 years to my wife. We just celebrated our 33rd wedding anniversary. Boy, that's a long time. But I wasn't even 33 when I got married. I had no idea what the next 33 years was going to look like. You probably, I guarantee you don't either. You have some idea. But that's where the always together thing comes in, because I did know one thing. I did know that I made a vow in a church. It doesn't matter that it's in a church, but it's nice that it's in a church, because that's sort of the present that can really help you understand you're in the presence of God. But you can get married on a hilltop, you can get married in a garage, you can get married wherever. If you're making that covenant and God is there and you've allowed the Lord to come in to the ceremony, you're making a promise and a covenant with your wife before the Lord. And that shouldn't be taken lightly, because again, that's a big deal. And it can be a joyous thing. Being together always can be a joyous thing. A lot of people kind of roll their eyes sometimes, and they're, oh, I've been married. Oh, don't ask me how long I've been married. Or, they might tend to, wish they were in a different situation. People think the grass is always greener, right? But all I say to that is, well, put some more water on your grass, make it greener, tend to your garden a little bit more. Now, being together always, can you start to notice flaws in people? Absolutely. Can people start to get on your nerves? Absolutely. But how do we combat that? How do we combat that? We combat that by dying to ourselves. It says in the book of Matthew, Jesus says, if you want to follow me, deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow me. Deny yourself is the first part. It's the key part, denying yourself. So when we deny ourselves, it means we're not going to get offended as much, or we shouldn't get offended at all. But denying yourself means I'm not going to get offended. I'm going to do my best to see things from their point of view, and I'm going to uplift as opposed to tear down. I'm going to die to myself and make this a stronger relationship. And when I am always together with my spouse, I'm going to find the bright spots, the joyful spots. It says in Philippians to rejoice in the Lord always. Then there's a reminder, again I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again I say rejoice. So rejoice in the Lord always. That means always. Always together, always rejoice, right? A lot of people, men will say, oh, my wife's the old ball and chain, or whatever that is. It's such a dumb expression. But, if you look at it that way, if you look at your spouse as a ball and chain, then that's how you're going to always view them. And that's a negative thing. That's a bad thing. But if you look at them as a benefit to you, the Bible says in Proverbs, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. A good thing. He who finds a wife finds a good thing, right? And so wives are good things, and they should be treated as good things. They really should be. And when the Bible says about men treating their wives as the weaker vessel, it doesn't mean that they're like weak, like frail. Women are extremely strong. Physically, men are stronger. That's just the way we are built. That's just a fact of nature. Men are physically stronger most times. I've met some girls that are way stronger than me, but men are physically stronger. But what it means by the wife is the weaker vessel is like you're to treat her like a china doll. You're to treat her very delicately. She's more delicate than you. That's what that means. So always together, it can help you being always together when you begin, men, talking to the men, when you begin to look at your wife as the weaker vessel who needs extra care, probably more care than you do, more tending to. And if you begin to enjoy that, and start to enjoy serving your wife, men. Yes, women can serve us and vice versa. What I mean by serve, I don't mean slavery. I mean, hey, your wife might do this one household chore, but you do another one. She does one, you do another one, right? It doesn't mean you sit in a chair and she just brings you stuff all day. That's a very, dare I say, old-fashioned way of thinking. And, we're both supposed to serve each other in the strongest way possible. Whatever you're good at, make sure your wife benefits from it. And wives, whatever you're good at, make sure your husband benefits from it. Don't be resentful toward your spouse. And it's very easy to get that way if you're looking at your marriage in a negative way. I want to read this from the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 24. This is God speaking about Adam and Eve. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother. I could just preach on that all day. I know a lot of young men who have not yet left their father and mother, and they're in their late 20s, early 30s. That's another entire talk later. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. One flesh. And what does the Lord mean by that? What does that mean, one flesh? It means yes, you might be two individual skeletons with bones and nervous systems and, different DNA. But when you get married, your covenant means that you are now understanding that you're one. Because every decision I make affects her, right? Every decision that's made by one affects the other one. That's one flesh. Prior to you being married, when you were single, you made decisions that only affected you, for the most part, right? But when you're married, every decision affects both of you. And that's, by the way it should be. That's what a covenant is. That's what a family is. When you begin building your family, because the always together is so huge because you're building a new family. You're building a new bloodline. You're building a new legacy. And it's really, really powerful and super, super, super exciting to know that, you get to spend time with your spouse all the time. Now, let me ask you this. If you don't enjoy spending time with your spouse, why is that? And are they enjoying spending time with you? You're going to reap what you sow, by the way. You really are. And if you are complaining, I want to ask you, what are you complaining about? There comes a time in every relationship where you can change you. A lot of us will pray, Lord, please change my spouse. Please make them do this or whatever. But the one you really want to focus on is you, because you can change you. That's all that means. You can change you, and you can change your mindset. The Bible says in the book of Romans, don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And I'll tell you, everybody who makes a change for the better in their life, maybe they've given up bad habits, or they've decided to, change their physical appearance, or they've decided to move, or decided to get a better job, or whatever. All those people have had a change of mind, a change of heart. And so they're following a biblical principle. They're renewing their mind, renewing their thinking. There might be a time where you don't think you can do something, but then you rethink it, and then you maybe retrain yourself. You examine the situation, and you really devote yourself to learning it, and then you go back in with a whole different mindset. So it's that renewing of the mind that is huge. And when you renew your mind and you change your way of thinking, you will understand that being always together is going to be a benefit to you. Your spouse should strengthen you. They shouldn't weaken you. They need to strengthen you. And you need to strengthen them. Keep this in mind. If you're always looking for people to do things for you and strengthen you, and it's all about you, is that a positive way to be? Well, no, it's not. It's not a positive way to be at all. My wife and I, the reason we do everything together is because she strengthens me, and I, in turn, strengthen her. It took us a while to learn this, too. Look, we were young once. We didn't have it all figured out. We thought, I'm just going to do this, and I'll be over here. And then she would say, well, I'll be over here. I'll be doing this. And then maybe we would, intersect at some point and, do something together. But then we started realizing we need to do all things together. It took us, we were married, I think 3 or 4 years before we actually got a joint bank account. That's interesting. I can't even imagine it now, but I actually had my own bank account that she could never see, and vice versa. I could never see her bank account. Now, how is that being one flesh? If I'm one with her and she's one with me, how's that one flesh? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I can't have secrets like that. I can't have, my own bank account or my own, side life that she has no, knowledge of. That's not good. And so being always together, give it a try. And I say this because on our trip, on our Celtic Nations trip, which we just got finished with, and thank you all so much for your support. Thanks for watching it online. Thanks for supporting us all year. We have so many updates to show you. There's a few video updates on the channel right now. And when you go on a trip like that, to as many churches as we went to and interacting with as many people as we were interacting with, it was so amazing that I'm so grateful we got to do it together. Had I stayed back and she went on the trip by herself, she would have had that whole experience on her own. And I would appreciate it. Like, oh, I'm so glad you had that great experience. But there was nothing like doing it together, being there for every minute together, walking into every church together, driving down every European road together with our team, sightseeing in Europe, meeting all the new pastors together. I mean, we did it all together. And I'm just so grateful I got to do that. And I'm so grateful I got to talk to you today. So don't forget, we have a lot of great teaching on healing journeys today. Check out all of our teachers. They teach live every single day. So many great things have come out of this ministry. So many more are about to come out. Keep looking at this channel for updates from our Celtic Nations Tour 2025. If you were there, we'd love to hear from you and what you thought. If you weren't there and if you've seen it online, we'd love to hear from you as well. If you see these videos, please comment on them and share them, because we want these videos to go far and wide. We want these videos to help people. We're here to help you with your healing physically and spiritually, and to strengthen your relationship, not just with your spouse, but with people around you, and especially your relationship with God. That's what we're here for. Okay, guys, we love you. Have a blessed day. And don't forget, healing is a journey. We're on it with you. See you later.